What's up, guys? So today's video I'm going to be running through trap tunnel basics, and when I say that I literally mean I'm going to be going through the absolute bare bones basics of trap building, and from there you can take it to another level and start building like people like David Dean. If you really want to know the advanced about trap building, go watch David Dean's content. His content is really good and informative. So I built these, well, let's just get into it. I built these to represent, that's where the husk's spawning, and imagine like right here is the objective that you're building. So obviously a lot of people know that trap tunnels are extremely effective at combating waves of enemies. If not, you could just throw down a Teddy, throw up some hoverboards, and kill these relatively easy. But building a trap tunnel makes it so you can almost go AFK. So just to start, I'll build the tunnel. I like to build them 1 by 3s essentially. So 1 unit by 3 units. And if all of these spawned, right, some would go here and these would just go here straight to the objective. So this obviously isn't an effective way of getting them to go in your tunnel. Yet yes, you built the trap tunnel assuming you trap all of this up, and they would just go right around it. So the way to combat this, you can either build ones, or like just one wall, but most of the time that is not good enough, so you have to build a wall and another stairs. This, and well, obviously you gotta do it to the other side too. So as of right now, if those are where they spawn, they would all run through here and die, presumably to your traps. However, if some spawned here, up here, let's just make the representation. If some spawned up here too, they would just walk right here and go and not go into your trap tunnel. So you'd have to pretty much do the exact same thing up here as well, and make sure you're walling it off to make sure that they cannot get past your traps. Pretty much do as much walling as you want. You're only spending 10 resources each time, so you're not wasting too much. And if you built what I just did, they would spawn right here, walk right into your tunnel, because this takes too long for them to destroy, so they'll just take the easier route, which is to go in here and die. So that's pretty much it for building trap tunnels. Now what I'll show you is the types of traps I use. So if it's a fire, I'll just build it for all the elements. If it's a fire element, put gas traps only on the ceiling, because if you guys didn't know, gas traps do elemental damage, which is physical, or elemental physical damage. So they do half damage to elemental husks, any element. The reason we pick fire is because the other ceiling traps, this does nature, which does 25% damage to fire husks. So if you have a fire husk, like let's say 4-player mission, or the wave is just fire husks, and you know that, never use ceiling electric fields or the other trap. Where is it? I don't have it leveled. It's the ceiling zapper. I like the electric field better. Don't use the ceiling zapper either, because it is also nature. So against fire husks, these are pretty much useless. So you pretty much have to use gas traps for fire husks. Alright, here, I'll build another 3x1 right here. Alright, and if the wave is nature, okay, I like to go gas, and then in the middle put a ceiling zapper, because since this is nature, it's doing 66% or 66.666 infinity % damage to nature husks. So this is fairly effective against nature husks, which is why I like to include one in the middle rather than just using gas traps like it is with fire. Alright, I'll build another. This will represent water. Alright, and for water, I still like to start off with gas traps just because the affliction damage they do is insane, but I like to just finish it out with electric fields because nature does 100% effectiveness to water. Alright, now for floor traps. Typically, you can put another tile out here and then start the slowing process here, or you can just do what I do and then just skip that. I mean, you could also do this and put another ceiling trap out here and then put more floor spikes, but you do you. Depends on how many resources you'd like to spend for a certain defense. So pretty much floor spikes, and if it's fire, I'll just do floor spikes the entire way. So this is the fire, remember it's fire, and then this I'll start with floor spikes, but then if it's nature I'll put the flame traps. Wait, I just jumped past it because it did. Alright, and if it's water, same. And then if you wanted more damage rather than just slowing them the entire way, you could put some retractable floor spikes instead. Now, for wall traps, I always like to put wall launchers because they're super good. On every single one, I'll just go do it right now. I put wall launchers on at least one side. Sometimes both if I just don't feel like I need more than one. Or if I feel like my ceiling traps can do the job, I'll just put my the wall launchers on both sides. But we'll just assume that this is a decently hard mission. So we'll go back to fire. The reason I like to use wall darts is, again, here we'll just get rid of this one just because. Shit. Alright. Pretend this is another wall dart because I kind of messed up and put another wall dynamo, but imagine this is a wall dart. The reason I use wall darts for fire is, again, because, let's go back to it, it does physical damage, and the wall dynamos do nature, and nature sucks against fire. Just remember that. It's the same thing with guns as it is with traps. Nature sucks against fire. So putting wall dynamos in a fire husk environment, they're not gonna really be useful at all. And the reason I like fire or wall darts, do physical extra damage. So let me just pretend that I'm a husk. I go in here, I get knocked around by this wall launcher. I'm on the ground. I'm getting hit by wall darts. I'm slowed and taking damage from wall spikes, and I'm getting gassed. This is an extremely deadly combo for literally any husk. The only husk, most likely, if you're at the same level of the mission that's going to get past here, is a flinger or a smasher. And that's because the smasher's tanky as hell, and a flinger takes almost no damage from any source unless it's melee. Alright, so this, imagine this is a wall dart, is my ideal fire husk setup. So let's go over here. If this is nature, I'm literally just wall dynamos, because nature does 66.66% damage, so that is sufficient, and I put that instead of wall darts. So again, this is my ideal nature trap setup. And then let's go over to water, and why do I keep running past that? And for water, always wall dynamos. If you want, if it's a really hard mission, you could forget the wall launchers and just put 2 wall dynamos instead. But remember, wall dynamos do nature, and they do 100% of their damage against water. So pretty much these easily counter water husks. So yeah, trying to think if I forgot anything. And feel free to make this longer. You can make as long a trap room or trap tunnel that you want. Just remember that you're gonna be spending a lot more resources, and I can't even tell you the amount of times I see people spend resources on a tunnel like this, and the traps back here have 0 durability loss, meaning they haven't been used once because everything has died before the 3rd tile anyways. So That's up to you whether or not you want to spend the resources, but that's it. That's the basics to trap tunnels and what traps I use for which elements. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.